It's Monday and we are still in the unit of our 5 senses. We are on week 2 of unit 6. And if you have just stumbled upon this video, then I will be sure to link our playlist below so that you can catch us right from the beginning at week 1. I will also mention that the program that we are following can be found on the busytoddler.com. I'm not trying to sell it to you, just sharing our experience with it. Some of the supplies that we're going to need for this week will include pom-poms, dot stickers, 2 empty cans, string, playing cards, post-it notes, and some variety of different sandpapers. The books that we will be reading this week are The Listening Walk by Paul Showers, The Nose Book by Dr. Seuss, Fuzzy Yellow Duckling by Matthew Van Fleet. So let's get right to it. Monday, you are to start, as we start every day, with your morning calendar or circle time routine and add in the poem and song that was included for this unit. Then you are to get along to your read aloud for the day, which is the listening walk. As always, you're encouraged to do a picture walk through the book first and try to predict what's going to happen with your child before you do an actual read aloud. Oh, the kitty went away, babe. That actually covers the things to talk about today, is doing the predictions with your child for this book. I will mention again that we just go straight to YouTube if we don't have the book on hand at home, which is most of the time. I kind of gave up on trying to round up all of the books through our local libraries. It was just taking up too much time and I was always coming up short-handed and not having all of the books anyways. So we just resort straight to YouTube. Our learning activity for the day is sorting pom-poms, and our easy activity for the day is to go for a listening walk. So I started out the day with the learning activity on the table, which was just a bin of pom-poms and our grid placemat that I never really take it apart unless we need it for something else. And this didn't really catch Nola's attention right away. We did a lot of playing with pom-poms over the weekend, so I guess she wasn't too thrilled to see them this morning. And it's really a fluke. Sometimes, like last week, I could place an empty bowl there and it really intrigues her, and then other days you put particular items there and she's just like, meh, whatever. So we actually kind of got into our easy activity first. We didn't actually go for the listening walk today because it is -23. That means no walkie today. What we did do is we talked about some of the things that we always hear when we're on our walks, because normally when it's not winter, we do go on regular walks. Some of the things that we always hear on our walks are a rooster. We haven't quite figured out where that rooster lives yet, but it's nearby because he's always there. And we always hear dogs barking. So what we did instead was we sat in the house with no music on and just kind of listened to the sounds of the house, which you can hear a lot of things in our house, like the furnace and the sub pump and the water pump and the dryer was going. Then we got out our sound machines, and this was actually Nola's idea. We have 2 sound machines that are very similar. They have similar sound titles on their buttons, but they each sound a little bit different because they are different brands. So we took turns kind of going through the sound machine settings and buttons and guessing what we thought the name of the sound would be, like the soft rain or the jungle or waves. We also went through with our Alexa because you can get her to make some certain noises and sounds. So we did that and tried to guess what sound she was making, but with her it's pretty obvious. However, with her, we did explore more of the instrument sounds and tried to guess what instrument she was playing. Then we eventually did get into our learning activity. It was kind of broken up through the day. Nola had just sorted the pom-poms by color, as she normally does, grouping them all together, large or small, but just sorting by color. Then we had laid out just the small ones on the grid, and then we took a little break, and a little while later we got back into it again. And she had put, it was just the pink ones out, and then just the green ones out. And then we collected all of the large ones, and then we added the small ones to those as well. So for this activity, however your child is capable of sorting them, have them sort it in that way. Ask them how they think they can be sorted, or give them perhaps different tools rather than just their hands to pick the pom-poms up from the container or whatever you have them stored in, and to put them onto your sorting grid or piece of paper, or even just on the floor. This will make it just a little bit different than simply sorting pom-poms for them. And that was all for today. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Tuesday, and today we start with your morning calendar or circle time routine as usual, along with the song and poem, but quite honestly by week 2 my child kind of bores with the song and poem, but if you can get yours, still do it, awesome. Then our review topic is just a kind of a repeat of yesterday, because yesterday's read aloud is also a repeat of yesterday, so we're going to talk a lot about what we are hearing. We also want to do a review of the letter S today and things to talk about. So you want to have this written in large and small form on a chalkboard, a whiteboard, a piece of paper. We just simply revisit the piece of paper that we had already written out earlier in this unit. Our learning activity is to make an I Spy game tray, and our easy activity is to decorate the letter S. So let's get to it. So today I started out with the I Spy game tray on the table, and it worked but kind of didn't work. So you want to have a large tray or a taped off square, some sort of defined space, and you want to collect items that can be identified easily from one another. So for instance, a Lego with 6 circles on top, or a car with 4 wheels, or a train that has 6 wheels. Something like that that can easily be identified so you can play the I Spy game. So with this tray I had a variety of different items on, and I actually kept adding and swapping out a few items from the time that I took the picture of it to the time that we actually played. When it came time to play, Nola didn't really want to play the I Spy game too much. She just wanted to play with the toys that were on there, which was totally fine. So I started to play the game with her brother, Colton, as I was feeding him breakfast, and I told him, I spy with my eye something that has 2 big ears. And about 15 minutes later, she picked up the rabbit and started to play. So this was how we kind of did the game. She was playing with the toys that were on the tray, and then we were slowly doing an I Spy. So we continued on this way, and I mixed it up. There was shapes, there was letters, there were toys, we were calling them by name. There were certain items that could be identified in more than one way. For instance, I said, I spy something that makes the sound. We had the letter R, we had a toy, we had 2 toys their names started with the letter R. One was a rabbit that started with the letter R, so that opened up lots of opportunities for multiple answers. And a lot of the time Nola was giving me all of those answers instead of just one, and I didn't quite realize how much I had did this until she started shouting out all these answers. Then we got into our book for the day, which is simply a repeat of yesterday's, The Silent Walk. We actually didn't get into this book yesterday. I just couldn't get her attention to the computer to want to sit down and watch it, but today she was very interested, and we watched it 3 times through. On the second time through, we paused at the end and listened to the sounds of the house once again, and today we heard the furnace, and we heard the fridge, and the dryer was still on, and we could hear cars going by, and Nola asked me why we couldn't hear the snow falling outside as opposed to when it's raining, and we can hear that. So brought up some great conversation. Then on the 3rd time she was watching it, I had noticed, as I just kind of left her to herself to watch it on the 3rd time, she was emulating the sound effect noises that the reader on the video was doing that coincided with the book. Then we got into the conversation of important things to listen for within the house. This was a topic we were supposed to review yesterday, and I somehow completely missed this one. So we talked about things like the fridge alarm to notify us when we haven't closed the fridge properly, and the timer on the oven so things don't burn. And then we got into the importance of the smoke alarm. And now we have Nest smoke alarms, so it's very easy to do a test. So we were up on the top floor when we started doing this, and we have one on each floor of our house. When you hit the test button, it goes off on each one. So we talked about the smoke alarm and how we hear it on each floor, and how it gets quieter and quieter because it gets further away each time it does a test. Then we also talked about how when we cover our ears, it sounds different when we hear our own voice with our ears covered, and how things are quieter when we're blocking the sound waves with our hand. Our easy activity today is to simply decorate the letter S. So you can simply just draw out a block letter S and have your child decorate it. In the program it suggested that they decorate it with dot stickers and cut out triangles, but seeing as there's close to Valentine's Day and we have a bunch of stickers that coincide with Valentine's Day, that's what we're decorating ours with. We'll go see how Nola's doing with hers, because she's in the middle of doing that right now. What you got there, babe?
S.
S. What are we decorating S with?
Heart stickers.
Heart stickers. Are they sparkly stickers?
No, shiny.
Shiny stickers. Are they sticky stickers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So she's gonna finish decorating, and that was it for the day.
I'm done decorating.
Another easy day done.
Look, I'm done decorating.
Oh, well, I still see some spots I think you could decorate. It's Wednesday today, guys. We are going to start with your opening morning circle time or calendar routine as normal. What day is it today, Nola?
Wednesday.
That's right, Wednesday, hump day. And then you are going to talk again about the 5 senses, and we're going to introduce the nose book today. And as always, you're encouraged to do a picture walk through the story first and try to guess with your child what is going to happen before you do an actual read aloud. We watched this book 4 or 5 times through. Then things to talk about today are smell. What does our nose do? What is a good smell? What is a bad smell? Things like that. Then we are going to take some tin cans and a hammer and a nail, and we're gonna make a phone. This is our learning activity today. And our easy activity is just to decorate this phone afterwards. So you're also going to need some string, and we're going old school with this. So what I have done here, if you can see, I just put some duct tape along the top and inside the rim here, just in case there's any sharp edges, because I don't have a very good can opener. Here's your other tin. Then we're gonna hammer a nail into the bottom to make holes. We are gonna thread. Okay, what do you want to eat, babe? We're gonna have a snack first. We are going to hammer the nail into the bottom and thread it through and tie a little knot so it stays together. Make sure you have enough string to get whatever distance you want to get apart from each other, and then play with your phone. Play with the sounds. Do the string tight, do the string loose, take turns listening, take turns talking, and just have fun with it. And then have fun decorating your tin can phone. So once we had everything all together and our holes punched in our cans and our thread tied in there, which, by the way, we just used a screw. I couldn't find a nail. I thought that after reading through today's program that in the morning I would just ask my husband to grab me a good sized nail and a hammer before he left for work. We had a crazy night, and Nola was awake from, well, we were awake from 2 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. and then we were all up at 6:20 this morning. Dear sweet baby Jesus, please help me through this day. I couldn't find a decent sized nail. Long story short, a screw worked just as well. Once we had all of our phones together, we moved around the house a little bit and experimented with the sound through the cans. It took some reminding on my part to talk into the can and then listen once you were done talking. Hey girl.
I want to show a camera my PJ basket.
Oh, look at that shirt, huh? You're a little sleepy? I'm a little sleepy too, but we had a lot of fun playing with our phones. We had a lot of fun decorating our phones. I think right now we are gonna go have a little rest while Colton is sleeping still.
Cookie first.
Cookie first, okay. And that's all for today. Good morning. What day is it today?
Thursday.
Thursday. So today you start with your morning calendar or circle time routine, and then today's read aloud is just going to be the same book that we read yesterday, which was the
Nose book.
The nose book. And this time we're coming, Colton. Since you already know what's happening, just encourage your child to tell you what's happening on each page instead of guessing. Then we're going to get into our easy activity, which we are doing right now, which is some matching. And then, no, this is our learning activity that we're doing, sorry. And then later we'll get into our easy activity. So for this game, let's just get Colton.
Mom.
Yeah.
What game are we playing?
Okay, so in the program, it is suggested that you get 2 decks of cards and you pull out the numbers 2 through 10. And then you lay one set of the cards down and give the other set to your child to match the numbers together. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna we have our deck of cards, and then I just made up another set of just these cards with dot stickers on them, and we are going to match the numbers. So, just like these 2 that you've already gotten here, what number is this?
10.
10. Now you have to find the correct card with dots that has 10 dots on it. Can you find the number with 10 dots? So for this activity, you can make it fit your child's capabilities. Matching is something that Nola has done a lot of, so I wanted to make this a little bit different for her. So I took the playing cards, which we don't use often. I believe we've only used them once before, and it was in this program. And then I made up my own little cards, and I just took some sticker dots, and I put the sticker dots on the cards in the same fashion they would be seen on some dice, up until the number 6, of course, because dice are also something that we do not use very often. I thought this would be a little bit different, where Nola would have to actually count them out and see that she had the right one. She was able to identify the match on a couple of the cards. I think it was 3, 4, and 6 maybe, without actually counting the dots. And there was a few times where she had to count through a couple of different cards to find the correct number. So I thought this was just a little bit more suitable for her capabilities. Even though she can very fluently count to 10, finding the matching dots was just a little bit of a challenge for her, because obviously she couldn't identify each number right away just by looking at it. She had to count through a few to find the right one. We are also to revisit the letter S today and talk about the sounds that it makes and some words that we know. You can also go back through the Read Aloud, which is the Nose book by Dr. Seuss, and identify this letter on a few pages. You want to have it written out in large and small on a chalkboard, whiteboard, or just a piece of paper. We simply revisit the letter S that we've already made for this unit, and we will revisit it every time that we are talking about the letter S throughout this unit. So now we are going to get into our easy activity, and Nola is just figuring out where exactly we are going to play this. Cushy carpet or our nest? Neither, on the carpet. Okay. So for our easy activity, we have a mystery box. So you are going to, I'm going to show you, okay? Don't look. No peeking. Sit up, sit on your bum. You are going to reach your hand in, and before you pull anything out, you can open your eyes. You're going to grab something in the box and guess what it is. And once you've guessed what it is, then you're going to pull it out. So I'll show you. I think I found banana toothbrush. Yep, it's a banana toothbrush.
Squishy.
Okay, so now without looking, just put your hand in. And then you can open your eyes or close your eyes and grab onto something and try to figure out what it is just by feeling it. Don't pull it out yet. Once you got something in your hand, you can open your eyes. Put something in your hand and guess what it is. Feel it. Don't pull it out yet. First you have to guess what it is.
Turkey leg.
Let's see. Pull it out. Oh. Turkey leg! You're right! So that was our easy activity for the day. It was quite fun. We just took an empty container that we had, because I'm that kind of person that keeps those containers around my house. You can simply use a bag or a pillowcase, something like that will work just fine. Collect as many items as you want. I had, how many items did we have there? Nola, you count them for me. And just made sure they varied in size and texture. And then what I was trying to get Nola to do was to describe the item to me before she pulled it out. And that was successful with a couple of items, but a lot of the time she just told me right away what it was, and then I would ask her what it feels like. Yeah, babe. We had about 12 or 13 items in there. And by the end of the game, she was getting it, and I can get her to give me a few descriptive words of the items that she was pulling out before she pulled it right out. And a couple of times she got a little tripped up and couldn't quite figure out what was in her hand because I put some items in there that we haven't played with in a while. So then she suggested that perhaps I have a turn. So I took a couple of turns and modeled for her what I wanted her to do. And all in all, we had a lot of fun playing this game. We had a pretty successful day, both of our games. We have played the card game a couple of more times, and I'm sure that we will play this game a few more times as she's just lining them up and counting them right now. So that's it for today. Hey guys, it's Friday. You are to start today, as always, with your opening circle timer calendar routine, along with a song and poem for this unit. The read aloud for today is the fuzzy yellow duckling. And with the things to talk about for the day is just to recap and recall our 5 senses. Ask your child to name the 5 senses and the body parts that go along with them and some things that we use those senses for. Our learning activity is an alphabet review, and our easy activity is a sandpaper hunt. Today we started off with the easy activity, as we typically do, just because I wanted to wait until Colton was sleeping to do our learning activity, so we started with the easy activity today. For this activity, it's suggested in the program that you simply grab a few different grits of sandpaper and just experiment with coloring on this sandpaper. Now, I thought that this would go rather quickly, so I wanted to add to it a little bit more, and while I was on the hunt for the sandpaper, I came across a couple other items that I thought might make things a little interesting. Like, I found a wooden cutout star, and it's from the dollar store, so it's really a terrible quality, so it worked out great for this activity because there is a lot of texture on it. I also had some foam board that was covered in paper, but a big section of that was ripped off, so I thought that would be really great for showing 2 different textures on the same sheet. I also grabbed some thick brown paper I have that is waxy on one side, and then my husband came up with the great idea of getting a regular piece of white paper and coloring over top of some of these items that have more texture, like the 60 grit sandpaper and the wooden star, so that you would then see that texture on the white paper. We got right into this activity this morning, and Nola seemed to find it interesting. So we took some time to feel these items before we colored on them. We talked about how the coloring turned out, if you could see it very well or you couldn't see it much at all, things like that. And all in all, I would say this was a very successful activity. Later, we got into our alphabet hunt, which is our learning activity for the day. And for this activity, you were to take a larger piece of paper or a bunch of small pieces, whichever you have, and list all the letters that we have reviewed so far. So this would be A, R, N, J, M, S, C, and probably not in that order, and I may be forgetting one because on my piece of paper I clearly forgot the letter N, and it was very small written in there. I also misjudged my size, and S and M were stacked and a bit smaller, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Your child does not care how pretty this is or how good it looks. They are going to remember the fun they had doing it. Which brings me to my next point. In the program, it suggested that you roll out this sheet of paper with the letters and then have a bunch of Post-its with both large and small versions of each letter and have your child match them up on the sheet of paper. Now, since Nola loves to do the alphabet hunt so much, while she was having her TV time when we first laid Colton down, that is when I set this activity up. I taped up the piece of paper on the wall and I started hiding the Post-its. And because we play this game so often, I can hide them in a little bit more difficult places each time we play this game. So she still actually needs to find 2 letters. I'm not sure how long that's going to take. Colton may find them first, who knows? So she really, really likes this activity. She loves going around and looking for the letters and bringing them back, and she had no problem putting the correct letters together on the sheet of paper. And then I told her we have 6 of each one, so she doesn't understand the math yet to say if she only has 4 letter A's that we need 2 more to get to the letter 6. I need to tell her and help her that to count from 4, that we have 2 more to get. She doesn't quite understand that mathematical concept yet, and I don't expect her to. But I just did this because if she counts to 6 with the letters, then she knows that she has found all of the N's or all of the R's. But if she doesn't get to 6, then she knows that there's still more to find. So after spending a few minutes with her at the beginning of this game, I can kind of leave her to her own and, you know, finish the dishes while Colton's still napping. So that's it for today. Another fantastic day, another fantastic week, and another fantastic unit. And I really can't say enough good things about this program. At times it seems very simple and very basic, but the repetitiveness of it and the consistency of it really, really shows through. Nola continues to sort items that she, previous to this program, she never would have really sorted on her own by color, by size, by shape. She does all that kind of stuff all on her own accord, not when I'm asking her, not when we're even engaged in any particular activity, just in her open free play time. And I love how, because this program is quite on a basic level, I would say, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a fantastic way, because you can mold it to fit your child, your schedule, your resources, and what you have around you, and really make it relevant and as engaging as you possibly can for you and your family. Even today, just turning the alphabet matching game into the alphabet post-it hunt because that's what Nola loves to do. You really, really can do what you need to do with this program, and it's just giving you the basis of a nice cohesive program so that everything is falling into place and everything is coming together nicely for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up, and if you are considering starting some preschooling at home with your toddler, then perhaps consider subscribing. Thanks.